Hello learners, in this lecture we will see how the quality of a water is going to matter while preparing a concrete, right? So we have seen that we require water for the concrete to happen, right? So coming to the quality of the water, see, the first thing is that, let me do it in this way. Yeah. So right. So what coming to the quality of the water, we call it as a potable water. That is whatever water is fit for drinking. No, the same water we have to use for the concreting work, right? Like the water which is fit for us to drink, the usually the pH of the water will be in between 6.8, 6.5 to 8.5. Yeah. So there is something called as pH scale. The pH scale starts from 1 to 14, right? So this is a pH scale, and above, if the pH scale is greater than 7, we call that as a alkaline in nature. Yeah. And if the pH is in between 1 to 7, we call it as acidic in nature. So all this test we do in the lab, that is an environmental laboratory. There are certain chemicals like phenolphthalein indicator and all. With the, I think even in the 12th standard we had done all this test, like we had made use of phenolphthalein indicator, ethylene diamine, tetra indicators and all, right? So with the help of those indicators we try to see all these things. Those things are done in lab, but for us important is that whatever water we drink, we use for drinking, the same water we have to use for the concreting work. Yeah. So now there are certain contents that you need to keep in a water, so that what will happen, the water is of good qualities. If there are organic contents present in your water, then it should be within 200 milligram per liter. If there are inorganic, then it has to be within 3000 milligram per liter. Sulfate content, as far as possible, you have to try to keep it to maximum 400 milligram per liter. We know that again, if there is a sulfate in the water, that will react with the cement, and again sulfate attack is going to happen. Similarly, if you have chlorides in the water, the chloride percentage should be 2000 milligram per liter for plain cement concrete, and 500 milligram per liter for RCC work, right? And if you have a suspended matter, then it should be 2000 milligram per liter. So again, if there is more chloride, what will happen? There will be a chloride attack to the concrete. Again, we don't want the chloride attack to happen. So that is why we try to limit all this percentage, right? That means, see, actually let me put it in a better way. So if you see the normal concreting work at near your home and all, no, there we try to make use of the water what is available, whatever is available. There we don't try to do the individual test on the water and all. But when you do a high rise buildings and all, let us say you're going for a G plus 10 15 building, right? So in that case, we are going to bring the concrete from the batching plant. So in the batching plant, these people will be making use of a good quality of water. And even before the water is used, they have to do all the tests, all the reports has to be sent there, because there will be quality checking and all. So all they have to prepare the report and all, that what is the quality of the water and all. And only when the quality of the water is good, then they are going to use that water. But in the local construction, whatever water is available, we try to make use of that, right? But only in the bigger construction, when you have higher grades of concrete being used, like M40 M50, high rise buildings and all, very big companies and all, there we have to we have to follow certain standard operating procedures, where we try to do all this test. Yeah. Now, there's one thing here. Yeah, the pH value of water shall generally be not less than 6. Yeah, generally not less than 6 of the water can be found using the litmus paper and the pH meter. So actually, the pH of the water should not be less than 6. If it is less than 6, then what will happen? It is acidic in nature, because we have seen the pH scale, right? If the pH scale is in between 1 to 7, if I'm not wrong, it will be anyhow, I'll be uploading this in the comment section. I'm not sure whether it is 1 to 7 and from 7 to 14. Okay, anyhow, for time being, we'll consider it has to be 1 to 7 acidic, and from 7 to 14 it is alkaline in nature, as far as I know, right? Yeah. So if it is less than 6, what will happen? Then again, it is acidic in nature. So if the water itself is acidic in nature, they'll try to react with the concrete. And since we have reinforcement bar, it's going to get corroded and all due to the acid. So we don't try to do all those things. Yeah. With the help of that litmus paper, you can see a paper here, no? So this is called as litmus paper. We try to do the testing in the lab, and we have certain procedure for that. That is, if your litmus paper changes its colors to that to let us say orange or red color, that means there is a acidic nature in your water. So those tests we do in the lab. And also we have this pH meter. You have to directly dip the pH meter into the water, so directly you're going to get the reading. And if this reading is more than 7, it's okay. If the reading is less than 7, that means it's acidic in nature. Then we'll not try to use this water for the concreting work. In that way we have to do all these things. Yeah. And also water suitable for mixing is suitable for curing also. It's a curing, we'll try to see what is curing in the second chapter. Yeah. So to put it in a better way, you can try to write in this way also. Organic matter, same thing, whatever I've written, 200, there might be few changes. Let me go back. Yeah, organic matter is 200 milligram per liter. Inorganics is 3000 milligram per liter. Yeah, it is also correct. Sulfates is 500 milligram per liter, but here they have mentioned it as 400 milligram per liter. You can try to follow this because this is taken from the Indian Standard Code book. Then your chloride should be 1000 milligram per liter for RCC work, and for PCC it is 2000 milligram per liter, and suspended matter has to be up to 2000 milligram per liter. So suspended matter, it is 2000 milligram per liter. It is good, everything is correct. Now along with that, we have to try to write down this also, from which code book you are telling that it has to be within the limit. So everywhere the Indian Standard 3025 is a code book what we follow for the permissible limits of solids present in the water. But try to write down this also, that is part 18, part 18. For sulfate it is part 24, for chloride it is part 32, and for suspended matter it is part 17. It's always good if you give the reference with the help of Indian Standard Code books. Yeah. So next is about the effect of water. So we'll quickly go through this. Anyhow, we have seen that if the quality of the water has to be good. If you want to add more point, you can try to add all these points in the examination or whenever you try to write. Okay, what will happen if the suspended solids are more? High amount of solids can increase the water demand, increase the dry shrinkage. It causes the efflorescence, that is excessive leaching of the salt will increase the porosity and decrease the strength and affect the air entering. And also if there is inorganic salt, the presence of salt of manganese, tin, zinc, copper, lead in the water can cause the reduction in the strength of the concrete. So, and even the carbonates of sodium and potassium may cause extremely rapid setting, and in large concentration reduces the concrete strength and all. So these are the factors, these are the things what will happen if you are not using a water of a good quality. Similarly, if there is a salt in the seawater, the salt present in the seawater reduces the ultimate strength of the concrete. A reduction in the strength of the concrete may be in the order of 10 to 20%. Chloride causes the corrosion of the reinforcement steel and the efflorescence of the concrete. So that is the reason we have to limit the chloride content in the water, and we have seen that it has to be within 2000 milligram per liter, right? Yeah. Chloride has to be 2000 milligram per liter for PCC work, and for RCC it has to be 1000 milligram per liter. Yeah. And if there is acid and alkalis, water containing acid or alkalis, usually in the industrial wastewater, is supposed to be unsuitable for making the concrete. Water with a pH value in between 6 to 8 should be normal use for our concreting work. Now, if there is algae present in the water, so what will happen? Algae is that what you find in the water, right? The green color what you get in the water. So that is called as algae. So algae may be present in the mixing water or on the surface of the aggregate particles. So usually if you're going for a batching plant and all, you are not going to find all these things, because there will be a good quality control and the aggregates will be good quality and all. So algae usually happens when you store the coarse aggregate for a very longer duration of a time, let us say 3 or 4 months, and after that you try to make use of it, then there are chances that your coarse aggregate may have a algae on that, right? So it combines with the cement and reduces the bond between the aggregate and the cement paste. The water containing the algae has the effect of entering large quantities of air in the concrete and thus lowering the strength of the concrete. So these are the certain effects what you are going to find if you have all these algae, acids, salts in the sea water and all. Yeah. Again, if there is a sugar, then what sugar is going to do? If the amount of sugar is present in the mixing water is less than 0.05% by weight of the water, there is no adverse effect on the strength of the concrete. Small amount of sugar up to 0.1% by weight of a cement may retard the setting of a cement. That we already seen when we were understanding the chapter of retarders. We have seen that if you try to add sugar, then there is a delay in the setting of a concrete. And if the sugar is there in the water, and obviously again there is a delay in the setting. The same thing is mentioned here, that 0.5%, 0.15% of weight of cement retards the setting of a cement, and early strength may be reduced, whereas 20 agents may be improved. And if there is oil and all, various kind of oils are occasionally present in the mixing water. Mineral oil in concentration greater than 2% by weight of a cement may reduce the concrete strength by another 20%. And usually when we pour the concrete, no, we have to keep the shuttering, right? Let us say this is a shuttering what you have done. So when we pour the concrete, before that we try to apply the oils on the shuttering plates, right? You might have seen that. If you have seen any concreting work going on, before the placing of a concrete, we apply the oil around the formwork. So even when we try to apply that oil, no, we should not apply the oil in the more amount, I mean in the excess quantity, because we know that if there is oil and all, again the strength of the concrete is going to come down. So usually what we try to do is we try to add a very minimal amount of oil, or oil on the surface of the formwork, so that next day when we try to take out the formwork, no, it becomes easy for us to remove the formwork. That means there won't be a good bond between the formwork and the concrete. So in order to not have that bond, we try to apply the oil. That's it, right? So that also you should not apply in more amount, otherwise the strength of the concrete may come down. So you have seen it here as well. Yeah. So I hope this basic understanding is clear, that what is the importance of quality of water, how it has to be understood, and what all effect is going to happen if you're using uh, the water which is not uh, satisfying the standards given by the Indian standard. Yeah. So we'll see you back in the next lecture. Thank you.